Welcome to Tell Me Your Story, New Paradigms for a New World. I'm Richard Dugan, your host. We bring you choices and knowledge of those choices to help make your dreams come true. And this is our special edition, our Wednesday edition of Tell Me Your Story with Lumari of Lumari.com. And it's a wonderful opportunity to get together and talk about some different conversations, different topics and so forth. And first of all, Lumari, thank you so much for joining us again. And here we are. What really amazes me is here we are we're in November and the year is almost over. And I remember when we started back in January with this series of programs, and I'm really grateful for your participation in this.
I am so happy to participate. This was an unexpected surprise and joy for me, so I'm really happy we're doing this.
Well, the thing that I have really enjoyed, of course, is that we have talked about your books, Streams of Consciousness, Living Inspired with Lumari, and also the Akashic Records. And then, of course, we talked about my book, and then we had some conversations about specific topics that were that kind of hit me in a particular way. And today is going to be one of those days where we're going to talk about our topic surrounds a current event and a period of time leading up to it that we here in the United States have gone through. We just finished it, at least as far as the casting of the votes for the different propositions and whatever you want to call them in other states, as well as candidates, from at all the different levels all the way to the top. We're not going to talk politics, folks. No. We are going to talk about releasing all of the energy that has been stirred up and has been fomenting as well as fermenting over quite honestly, the last 2 years. And relationships have been severed, and angst and depression and frustration and anger, and the list goes on and on and on. But today, we're not here to talk about the topics. We're here to talk about how to release that energy, transform it, transmute it, and that's what Lumari is here to talk to us about. And something we've been talking about on every program is that free gift that Lumari has for you at lumari.com/sacred space. It's that meditation. And I'm going to let you describe that and encourage people to go to your website to sign up and have that. It'll be sent to you via email. But tell us a little bit about that as we get into this conversation today.
Oh, thank you, Richard. Well, so the personal sacred space meditation, first I'm going to tell you a little about your energy field. So most of us in the world absorb energy from a lot of different things. Whether you are at the grocery store, having conversations with friends, concerned about something, trying to help other people, our energy fields are usually pretty open. And some people's energy fields are even more open, so they are absorbing emotions, ideology, conflict, stress. That's what you absorb. And then also, of course, we have it in our own life. So we have stress, we have different things that are showing up that aren't necessarily illuminating and exciting. And I call that your personal sacred space. So to be in alignment, to be able to experience more joy, be more creative, be happy, be centered, be able to connect with that small, still space, we want to create that personal sacred space as a clear energy. So this meditation helps you connect with your own beautiful inner being and release any of those things from your own energy field, and do it in a way that's really positive, so you're not like just throwing crap out into the universe and hoping it changes it, but you're able to release that stress, release those thought processes, release the emotional energy, etc., from other people, and move into the beauty of your own being. And the beauty of your own being is what I call your personal sacred space. So your energy field is sacred. And that's what this meditation is about. And at this point in what's happening in our world right now, it is more important than I even imagined when I created it. Because think about all of the things that are going on, no matter where you're playing in this. You need that space to come back to who you are, so we can create in the beauty and sanctity of our beings in our world.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the meditation that you guys definitely, it's free. Just download it. You'll love it.
Absolutely. And there are a couple of things that I want to start off by talking with you about, Lumari. One of them is whether you, and I'm going because there are people who did not participate. That's their choice. That's their right.
Yeah.
Now, there will be those who will be critical. I am not.
Sure.
Your choice is your choice, and it isn't about it. It's not my place to say that whether you should or shouldn't have. So and so if you chose, even if you chose not to participate, and you know there is some thought out there that says that there are those who do not want to participate because of that energy. They don't want to get themselves tangled up, if you will, in that energy. And I can understand that. I mean, good heavens, with what we've seen over the last 2 years especially.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like, why would you want to put yourself through that, as I like to use the word, that quagmire?
Yes, good word.
Okay.
Quagmire, I liked it.
And I understand that then there are those who will be critical, who will say, well, wait a minute, but it's your responsibility as a citizen. No, it is your responsibility as a person to make that choice for yourself. No one else has the right to condemn you or criticize you, judge you, whether you or criticize you for participating. I heard George Carlin in one of his bits talk about that. He now I don't know whether he was telling the truth or not. I'm going to take him at his word.
He's a comedian.
Yeah, that he did not vote. He says that they say that if you don't vote, you have no right to complain, and he gave his logic as to why not voting, he has every right to complain because he's not responsible. And I kind of get that. I understand. Whatever your choice was yesterday, and over the course of whatever time it was since you cast your vote,
right?
You were drawn into that quagmire regardless.
Absolutely.
And so you and the rest of us who made the choice to participate,
right,
also have to get through all of that stuff. And I'll be honest with you, Lumari, I have been trying not to take it in, but it's difficult because we're inundated constantly by the stuff.
Yeah. Well, and I'm glad you're saying this because whatever you and I are talking about, whatever results are there, that's not what we're talking about.
Correct, that's right.
We're talking about the energy of what has gone on and what we can do now that whatever has happened. The thing about it is, just talking about the energy of it.
Yeah.
Some of it is the things that you've listened to and the conversations on all different sides, from all different people, from all different sources. And there's another whole thing where it's in the energy of our world. Okay? So with what is going on, there's those of us who are in this particular country who are being, I'll use the word influenced.
Yeah.
By the energies of the arguments, what's true, what isn't true, what is going to happen, what isn't, all that stuff, we're influenced. no matter where you are in it.
Correct.
It's influencing the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
All of the countries all over the place are watching. And they're sitting there going, well, what's going to happen to us too? Because who knows? And who knows anyway, given all the different circumstances. So it is part of what's happening right now, which is why the conversation we're having today is so important. Because there's no way around this conversation. Whether you decided to take an action or didn't, whatever action you decided to take, we need to move into a place where we can create the positive, beautiful, collaborative shifts in our world no matter what happened.
Yeah. And it's not easy. No one said it was going to be easy. But the reality is that if we don't, then we end up sort of derailing our lives and our life purpose because we're still stuck in that. And then it's going to be very easy for someone who may choose not to get out of that, who actually seems to enjoy being in the trauma drama.
Yeah.
And there are people that do.
Surprisingly.
So, yeah, I know. It's again, they like being in the quagmire. Okay.
Yeah.
Some people will not get this reference at all, but this quagmire, and then giggity giggity. If you do get the reference, you know what I'm talking about. But we're here to have some fun, to play a little bit, especially after, and that's another element here too, is the playing. We have given up the joy. Quite honestly, we've given up one of those inalienable rights of the pursuit of happiness for the pursuit of frustration and angst and depression and anger and so on and so on and so on.
Yep.
And that. My goodness, what? Yeah, it's almost like, do you really understand that? Matter of fact, as of this conversation, I was interviewed on a radio station up in Alberta, Canada, for my book.
Right.
And,
nice.
I made the comment that my book is about taking responsibility for one's life.
Yeah.
Okay? When you make a choice, when you choose to make a choice, you are not a victim. You are responsible. And I even went as far as to say that wherever you are today, whether you accept it or not, the reality is you are 100% responsible for where you are. Nobody did it to you. Now, I know there will be people saying, well, yeah, but what about some of these people who end up in prison for 20, 30, 40 years and they didn't do it, and then they finally find out after DNA testing, hey, it was still their choice. There were a lot of other options that they could have chosen, but they chose to go through the system, right or wrong. And actually, there is no right or wrong. These were lessons that they came here to learn. And that is even difficult for some folks to understand and to accept. And I can appreciate that. But I even made the comment about the election. And I didn't go into any specifics other than to say that we're all going to go into that booth and we're going to make choices. And those are our choices, and they're nobody else's. But we are the ones that are responsible. So that's a very
powerful conversation about the responsibility of choice.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that we know, right, because on the one part, if we're just looking at this lifetime, then we stand in this moment and look back in our lives and go, oh, yep, that wasn't a good choice. Oh, yep, I was absolutely naive. I'm using a nice word, naive, not the other ones we could use. Right.
Yes.
In choosing that, even though I had an understanding, I didn't pursue it. I didn't look deeper. And we can also look and go, whoa, that was an amazing choice, and I don't even know how I got there.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was that smart, and it actually was a smarter choice than I realized.
Mm-hmm.
And so the power of choice in our situation, we have to own it. You know, you're talking about responsibility, right? And we have to own that choice. Now, like you're talking about other things, like if we look at like how we came into this world and what agreements we have and what things we were going to do and not do, etc., that's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still a percentage ratio, I'll call it that, where you can change your mind about the path you decided to take here.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to be conscious of that.
That's right.
You know, otherwise you're going to make the choices that you make based on what you know. And one of the things, you know, we talk about, you and I, spiritually and consciously, is being more aware of what's happening so that when you are making those choices, they're conscious choices.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not a response because everybody in the neighborhood is doing this, so you're going to do it too.
Yeah.
Or everybody in your family is going to do it this way, so you're going to do it too.
Yeah.
Or you don't know what else to do, so you're just going to look it up in Google and decide.
Yeah, that's possible too. You know the phrase like lemmings to the sea?
I've never heard that one.
You've never heard the phrase like lemmings to the sea. Well,
no.
What's interesting is that, and I'm assuming it's a bird of some sort, some creature, and it has to do with
I thought it was a fish.
Sheep mentality. No, they're on land first, and then they go to the sea. And the whole point, the whole point is that they follow. The lemmings follow, or are instructed to do something, and they all just they go over this cliff into the sea, and they drown. Now, what's interesting, let's just say there are 100 of them. All 100 of those lemmings is 100% responsible for the choice they made to go walk right off the edge of the cliff into the water and drown.
Wow.
They made the choice. Now you say, well, but they were coerced. They were lied to. They were this. Doesn't matter. It does not matter. The reality is they made the choice based on whatever it is that they chose. They made the choice. And it's just like us. The accusation often is, that the population, there were sheeple, we're just a bunch of sheep, right? Following and so forth. And then there are those who choose to get off the grid because they've had it up to here with society and all of the BS. Once again, another choice. They're taking responsibility. However, in that kind of a situation, they are playing a little bit of the victim role because they're saying, I can't live here because whatever's going on in the outside world. And they blame the outside world for the way that it is, and that's why they retreat into the wilderness. Once again, that's their choice. But they're still 100% responsible for it. It's based upon the information they've put together in their own minds and their own hearts. That's, to me, where we're gonna go next in terms of knowing what choice to make. And again, it's nothing new that we haven't talked about on this program before. And it's going within and listening to that still small voice. And that's part of what your meditation is about, this sacred space meditation, that we need to create within ourselves that sacred space.
Yes. And to be able to, the wonderful thing about this personal sacred space is that it honors who you are.
Yeah.
It appreciates who you are. There's no judgment there. There's no belligerence. There's no anger. Then, all of that stuff that sometimes in our world takes over a lot of things because it's so loud. So, and we have that. We know how loud that stuff can be. but this still quiet place within you, this sacred space of your being, that's where you shine. Whether it's a bright light or a sweet little candlelight, that's where you play. I like the word play. It's one of my favorite words. And so that's where you play, where you explore. And in this period of time where we're moving to another level, we can choose what level we want to move into. Now, we can look at this and go, I really choose to celebrate the possibilities of my own life and my creativity and my spirit and my purpose on this world, and celebrate that for everyone. I want to create a space where everybody, the beauty and grace of their being shines. And we get to look around and go, whoa, look at the light, look at the love from that person, look at the curiosity, look at the joy, look at what they're doing. And have that energy. And when we're looking at choice and we're looking at change and we're looking at that, whatever has gone on doesn't mean that that's what we have to follow. Because in the moment, we're creating whatever we're creating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's some amazing things. I mean, one of the things, you know, we've talked about this before. You do music. I have come from an art background.
Mm-hmm.
And I am looking at some of the art that people are doing now that is beyond what I ever thought. And I was an innovator. I was really, you know, one of those people who everybody thought was completely out there doing my artwork. And I'm looking at it now going, amazing what they're doing. The vision that these people are bringing forward. And the visions that some people have for our world now that are in such harmony, in such support, in such loving attention, that all the other stuff that is trying to be loud does not stifle that at all. That's where we can play.
Yeah. I find it most interesting and fascinating what comes out of, for example, and we've talked about this before too, natural disasters, you know, and the people come out of the woodwork to help one another, and they begin and they get very creative and so forth. Well, there are those who actually look at our previous 2 years leading up to yesterday as somewhat of a disaster, and I'm hoping that we can turn to one another. I mean, we went through a pandemic in 2020 and 21 and 22. I guess it kind of waned in 23. But at the beginning, there were people who came out of the woodwork to help one another, whether it was to help the first responders with the lack of a proper protective wear. So individuals, citizens created them. And so forth. And then restaurants that were closed had all this food. So they started feeding people for free.
Yes.
And so on and so on. And so it's like, okay, if you want to look at the last couple of years from the political arena as sort of a mini disaster or a what have you, an issue that has really tested our mental well-being. I mean, if the pandemic wasn't enough, then we had this. And we need to be there for each other, regardless.
Well, exactly. And the thing, when we're looking at the politics in a loose perspective, right, because we're not speaking directly to anything,
right,
a lot of the conversations about that didn't actually shine on some of the amazing things that happened because knowing that there was an election coming, people were polarizing it.
Yeah.
Whereas they weren't saying, look at what happened, look at what was supported, look at what these people in governments all over the place, as well as the national government, did to change things and help people. They didn't look at that because that doesn't get you into office.
Right. Unfortunately.
I don't know why, but it doesn't. But when we look at the energies of it, a lot of really good things have happened in those timelines. And a lot of great insights have happened. And we know a lot of crap happened, too.
Oh, sure.
So where we are right now is, this is like one of my favorite things I like to say to myself as well as my clients, which is, where do you want to play today?
Mm-hmm.
And I like it because it rhymes. Where do you want to play today?
Yeah.
You know, if I was a rapper, I would totally do that, but I'm not. But it would be really cool.
Yeah.
I can just see everybody dancing and yelling it and everything, but yeah, that's not my rhythm.
Not your thing, no.
But anyway, when you look at it, like, where do you want to play? When you're looking at our world and all of that other stuff, take this moment, like right now with Richard and myself, take this moment and ask yourself, where do you want to play today?
Yeah.
What do you want to create? What do you want to experience? Who do you want to inspire? Who do you want to help? And that can just be, you want to help yourself. And you can look at it and say, you know what I want to do? I want to play in silence. I don't want to interact with anyone. I want the quietude of my life. And you can look at it and say, whoa, I'm going to start a marching band.
Yeah.
That's where I want to play.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, that is for me, and you know, like I go really deep spiritually and really expansive spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
And that one sentence opens up, that one question, opens up a way of looking at things, because it doesn't have, who are you going to be in the world to change this, right?
Right.
It's like, where do you want to play today?
Yeah.
Because the playfulness, the joy of your being, the light of your soul is in that play. That changes everything.
Hmm.
Can you imagine walking downtown in Santa Barbara and every single person is smiling? Everybody.
Yeah. Now that would be extraordinary. It really would.
Yeah. And that's just smiling.
Yeah. And just smiling. You're not saying anything to anybody. You're just smiling. And you're putting that out there.
Yes.
This is Lumari. Lumari.com is the website. Lumari.com/sacred space. And that's where you can get that video, that free video to download. Not video, I should say audio meditation to download. We hope that you'll go there. This is Tell Me Your Story. I'm Reverend Dr. D, Richard Dugan. It's just a moniker. I actually have that on my book cover as well. And I was actually asked about that by my mother. When did you become a reverend? I said, well, about 12 years ago. When did you become a doctor? And I said, it's if you will, it's honorary, okay?
Yeah.
Just having a good time. One of the other things too that came to mind, and again, I'm just going to quote. There was a political figure back in 1980 who asked this question. This goes to the core of what we've been talking about up to this point. The question was, and many people know who said this, but I'm just going to quote it. Are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? And I thought about that for a very long time. And my response to that question is, even to this day, if I am better off today or not better off today, had nothing to do with you. Had nothing to do with anybody else. Now, if I owned a business and I had employees and we manufactured widgets and we wanted people to buy them, I am beholden to the employees. I am beholden to the customers, yes. But I'm the one that chose to go into the widget business. Nobody else made that decision. I'm the one that made the decision, the choice, to write the book Choices, 5 Steps for Life. To do these programs, to do these podcasts. Again, I will always recognize the contributions of and I say thousands of people, including you, Lumari, who have brought me to where I am today. So there's a taking responsibility for my life, as well as, and at the same time, honoring those who have supported me along my path.
Yes.
And there were times And thankfully, they were few and far between, as well as fleeting instances, not even moments, but instances where, yeah, I wanted to quit. I wanted to give up because of this, that, or the other thing. But fortunately, they were fleeting. I'm like everybody else. I struggle with those same, the critic, the internal critic. Hey, I have one too. It's like you see in some of these cartoons. You've got the angel on one side, one shoulder, and the devil on the other.
Yep.
Which one are you going to listen to? Now, you hear them, but that doesn't mean you have to do anything about what they say. It's your choice. And that's where the internal process, that's where that inner life, that inner work has to start. We need to go within, find a place where you can just be quiet and listen. And sometimes that's all you need to do. You don't need to do anything else but listen. And maybe all you hear, thankfully I live up in the wilderness, but if there was a park, I hear the birds. I hear the wind through the trees, and anything else that may pop up in nature. Maybe I'm near a stream or a river or a lake, or I, being in Santa Barbara, I'm out at the ocean, and I'm listening to the surf roll in and out. Then just be there. And this takes us to another area, another level of perfection. And I've talked about this before. Perfection is just about being. So when you're in that moment, whether you're sitting on the beach or in a park or a quiet place in your home, and you're just listening, you are perfect right where you are. And it just seems to me that we get distracted by all the noise on the outside. Lumari, it's bad enough that we have the noise on the outside and then we have our own internal critic. But see, we can shut off the outside world.
We can.
And
we should.
Yeah.
It's one thing that's really important. Of course, now I want everybody to listen to this radio program, so don't shut this one off.
No, please. Please.
Exactly. But you need space from all of the stuff.
Yeah.
So you need space when the media isn't on, when your iPhone or whatever you're looking at you're not scrolling and everything else. You need that quiet time. You need the time that you're not actually working. So some people say, okay, I'm not doing that, but I am doing my whatever. No, it's like that beautiful sanctity of your being.
Mm-hmm.
Just quiet. I mean, I channel, so I have lots of conversations with the divine beings.
Yeah.
And I love it. All right? I love it. I'm talking to all these divine ones, for my clients, for myself, for writing my books. It's a channeled conversation when I write my books because I'm exploring new things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not usually writing about everything I already did and know because my process of writing is an exploration. And when I'm in that space and I have beings who really, and they're divine beings, it's not just some dude, right?
Yeah.
But I will actually say to them, you know what? I need quiet time. Is it all right if you come back in a half hour and tell me what you want to talk about, and we'll see if it's beneficial for both of us.
Right.
And now, it's like I've had people say to me, Lumari, you tell them to go away, these angels and divine ones and gods and divine beings that any of us would just, please, we want to talk with that person. And I say, yeah, I do. And like I have a joke with them. I said, okay, take a number, just like you do in the bakery, and then come up and tell me in an hour what you want to talk about, and we'll see if it's a match. That's my humor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
other people, like, if I say that to them, they go bananas because they think it's like, no, if they are coming to you, you must receive the message. I'm like, no. If I want that quiet time, and I want to see if this message and this being and myself have a beautiful resonance where I can help them by listening and they can help me by sharing, I want to be able to say yes, but I want to have that time where if I'm saying, okay, I need quiet time, and the divine ones in the universe go, oh, she's quiet now, wait, let's go talk. I can say, no, wait, I still need quiet time, come back in an hour and we'll talk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that, for a lot of people, that would be, like, they could say a whole bunch of different things about, hubris and
oh, yeah.
All of this other stuff because I'm telling them to go away. She told the angels to go away. Yep, I did. I need this time. But they respect that about me.
Mm-hmm.
And I respect that need and space about myself. Like, I need that quietude to just tune in and not do any work.
Right. And
not
that also
worry about this or this.
Yeah, and that also works with the mind.
Yes.
I've talked about this too, I remember when I first started learning back in the 80s about meditation and how, oh yeah, you got to quiet the mind. You got to tell it to shut up and go away and so forth and so on. So that you can have a quiet, and then I heard about how whatever thoughts might come from the mind, just let them float by. Just let them pass on by. Ignore them. Don't even pay them any attention. Let them go. And as I learned more and more, I began to realize, well, wait a minute. What if, and this is like in the last 10 or 15 years, I was to say to my mind, look, I want to spend some time, some quiet time. Could you let me just, let me go over here and you stay quiet and I will go over here and I will spend some quiet time. And when I come back, we'll have some fun with what I gather.
Yeah.
And then,
and you'll have some. Yeah,
but,
and this is I do this as well. And then if my mind, I say, listen, would you hold that thought?
Yeah.
I'm going to be in this quiet space.
Uh-huh.
And then if we really think that this is an important thought for me to look at, please bring it back when we're ready.
Mm-hmm. Well,
we do have that phrase, hold that thought.
Right. Well, here's the next level of that. Instead of telling the mind or asking the mind to go over there and be quiet, and the mind is like a child. I mean, some call it the monkey mind, but it's like a child. And one of my guests made this wonderful suggestion. All right. You know how a child feels when the child is told to go over there and sit quietly and wait by themselves, right? They start to feel lonely and maybe they start to feel afraid. So my guest said, why don't you invite your mind to go with you as long as your mind stays quiet? Your mind can come with you.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And now your mind is a part of that process. But it allows you to do what you need to do. Have that quiet time. Your mind is right there hearing all of this. And who knows the kind of relationship you might create now in that scenario with your mind.
Yes.
Because we're integrated. There's no separation between the body, mind, emotions, and the soul.
No.
They're not compartmentalized. They're integrated. But we are taught, just like we're taught from an early age, let's just say, by the various philosophies, primarily here in the States, that we're separate from God and that we have to go to someone else to intercede for us. Now, I'm all in favor of intercessory aspects. Just got a text from the family that there's a family member, a distant family member, who was just in a car accident a couple of days, is in the ICU, is stable, vital signs are strong, they're doing well, but they're asking for prayer. Well, great.
Yeah.
Then, hey, we'll offer up prayer for this person. Absolutely.
Sure.
And we were even taught that, strangely enough, even within the context of this philosophy, about intercessory prayer. Well, then what do I need to go to this? Usually they were males, the priest, in terms of all of this. Why can't I go straight to? And then you can also call on your ancestors, those who have already gone on, and the angels and the saints and on, and the list is endless. To ask,
Exactly, it
hey,
is endless.
yeah, even if it's just to be thankful, or on the other hand, if it's to cry out, help, that's fine too.
Well, we have all of that available to us. So the wonderful thing, and especially now, so given the world we're in now, we have so much more information and access than we've ever had socially, because we've all had the same amount of access spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
You just may not know it.
Right.
We've had it. But socially, why not have people join in prayers? Why not have people who we can have a conversation with about whatever it is? I mean, that's part of my work. I coach people and bring in frequencies and look at things for them and give them guidance. I love doing that. That doesn't mean they don't listen to their own being as well.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that they don't go and ask the universe questions and have that quiet, beautiful time where they listen. It's all there for us. And it's beautiful to have people that we can communicate with and even have discussions. Now, giving your power away, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Saying that this person knows more than I do, so I'm just going to do whatever they say, that's not something I recommend.
Mm-mm.
I don't even recommend it to my clients. I say to them, listen to what I have to say, and then you decide if it fits.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever their decision, that's the beauty of it.
Yeah. Without going too far down this path in particular, there have been times in history, in human history, and even in the last 100 years, we have seen what happens when people decide that they're going to follow and only listen to this person or that person or the other.
Yeah.
And in many instances, it ends up in tragedy as we see it here on the mortal plane. And it's very sad. Yeah. And it's always up to us. And that, and this may sound strange to some, and in those tragic situations, it was their choice to follow.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, there's the repercussions on all different areas. But today, in your own life, in your being, you can engage.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean you have to engage every single minute. I would definitely say don't.
Mm-hmm.
but there's so much present, and the thing that always excites me is there is so much there. I can choose to listen to 100 different meditations by different people and see which one fits and resonates with me. I can invite different people for my own guidance. And I can have conversations with people that open things up for me that I didn't look at it that way. And I have my clients who, well, it's crazy. I have clients that I've worked with for over 30 years. They still call me. Why? Because the resonance and the wisdom that I can share with them as my client, it works for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to work for everybody.
Right.
It's not supposed to.
And yet they also already know that once having received the wisdom or the insight from you, it's now their responsibility to take the reins of their lives and do with it what they feel led to do. This isn't you telling them what to do. You're just giving them some insight, some inspiration, maybe some wisdom, some guidance.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I mean, that's...
Well, and the thing is, I can tell them, because sometimes I'm very fortunate to have, like I said, many different beings who bring their guidance to me. I have a whole legal team on the other side, not a lawyer. But if a client says, what do you think about this contract? I'll say, hey, dudes, what do you think? And I'll share it. And they'll figure it out. I have no clue about it, but I know vibrationally I can actually track legal stuff. It's hilarious to me because it's so beyond what I am, right?
Right.
But then they go and they do what they do. And sometimes it's like they do it right away. And sometimes I've had people that have called me and said, okay, it's 6 years later. I finally got it.
Yeah.
I'm like, good for you. Good for you. Your choice to follow. However, and this is our choice right now to move into a higher level of being. After all of the craziness, because you and I are both in the States, after all the craziness, no matter what, it's still about the sacred within ourselves, the joy, the choices, and looking to see our own path and creating beauty and grace and wisdom and compassion and freedom and choice in our world.
Yeah. I find it interesting, too, when I take a look at the natural world and the different things that happen in our areas. I live out here in California where we do deal with wildfires on occasion.
Oh, yeah.
Thankfully, this year hasn't been too bad. You happen to be there in New Mexico where, even as we speak, you got some snow coming down. Folks in Florida, and I love it. I wish I was there. I really do. I love the falling snow. It's absolutely wonderful.
The big white flakes today was crazy.
Oh man! And then you've got Florida. Yeah. There you've got the Gulf of Mexico, and then the Eastern Seaboard. Then you have Tornado Alley. Wherever you live, you deal with the natural world, and there's nothing you can do about it. You either deal with it or you move. But wherever you move to, you're going to still deal with the natural world.
Exactly.
So, and I used to wonder about that, thinking, why would anybody want to stay there? Well, where are they going to go? Because again, I left. It's funny too, because after we left Phoenix to live here in Santa Barbara, I felt as though I went from the frying pan into the fire, because from 2007 for the next 10 or 15 years, every year there was a fire that threatened us, and I'm going, what in the world is going on?
See, the same thing for me. Yeah. I moved to Santa Fe from Boston area, which there's tons of snow there. 3 feet of snow is a no biggie in New England. And the reason that I moved to Santa Fe was because it snowed 4 feet, which it never does, and we couldn't get out for 2 months.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm like, okay, the universe has told me where I need to move.
Yeah.
Because if I can't get out, obviously there's a reason.
Yeah.
But I never thought I would have snow like that. This is south.
Yeah.
I didn't think about mountains or anything like that, right? I'm like, I'm in the south. This is New Mexico. What's it going to snow 3 inches? No biggie.
Well, according to what I've seen on some of the weather maps, there's more coming. Unfortunately, it's bypassing our part of California. The Sierras may get a lot of snow, which will be wonderful. But what we do have to do is bypass right now, because we've got to get off this roadway and prepare for next week as well. I want to thank you so much for not only being with us, but also making this meditation, this sacred space meditation, available to our listeners. And I look forward to talking with you again next week.
I am so excited, Richard. It's always a pleasure. And I love the friendship and the sacred beauty that we bring to each other and the world. So I'm honored to be with you.
Well, thank you. I am honored to be with you as well as you who are listening and watching Tell Me Your Story. New Paradigms for a New World, where we're giving you choices, and knowledge of those choices to help make your dreams come true. And until our next broadcast, podcast, videocast, love to Lal. Jeanette, I'm still listening. Dad, continue to be happy, because I am. Smokey, I will see you on the other side. And to my dear friend Zorro, aho, aho.
Go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others. Even the dull and ignorant, they too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexations to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain and bitter, for always there'll be greater and lesser persons than yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here, and whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career. However humble, it is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to the virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself. Especially do not feign affection, neither be cynical about love. For in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune. But do not distress yourself with imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here, and whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive Him to be, and whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace with your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be careful, strive to be happy.